One to the audience. What do you mean?
Uh-oh. Before you speak, Sister Bucky Tavidi in the comments says that it's dark-skinned brothers are praised while dark-skinned sisters are generally not. So.
Say that again.
She said dark-skinned brothers are praised, but by and large, dark-skinned sisters are not.
Yeah, that seems to be the contradiction there. That the brothers are dark-skinned brothers are in, dark-skinned sisters are out, and I definitely want to hear about that. Brother Shadow, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, good brother. Where you joining us from?
I'm from Kansas City. But in my ethnicity, I'm from South Sudan.
South Sudan, yes, sir. Where would you be on the color spectrum, my brother?
Well, I mean, I'm the darkest as they come, you know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The color of God, my brother. Blue, black, purple, African. The color of God. Yes, sir. So tell me how compare your experience being a dark-skinned brother back home on the continent versus here in the States. Are you more accepted in Africa, more accepted here, or do you get discriminated against in both contexts?
So I was actually born out here and raised in America. I haven't been back home.
Okay.
There's like a war, you know. But, around your own people, you're not going to experience colorism because, you're all the same shade, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here in America, you do experience a lot of colorism, even from other dark skins, you know?
Tell me about that. Now, you said you experienced colorism even from other dark-skinned Africans. Tell me about that. Give me an example.
All right. So, like, this sounds crazy, but people have literally laughed at me because of my skin tone and, treated you kind of like a joke in a way, you know? Mm-hmm. And I think that's something, I think South Sudanese people, I think we would experience the most colorism out of anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the case. That's the case most people have experienced. My experience as a man, I do admit, I have experienced less colorism than, for example, my sister. She experienced way more colorism than I have, and I experienced a ton of colorism. So, just to put that in perspective, and she would experience bullying from other dark-skinned women, and everybody pretty much in general. And it got to the point where she was actually depressed, and it wasn't a good environment,
Now, give me some examples of some of the colorism you've experienced, my brother. Can you give me maybe one or two examples, real-life examples?
One example. This is like a legit real-life example. Somebody later said to me that you're so black, you make want to hit you in your face.
Somebody said, you're so black, you make me want to hit you in your face?
Yeah.
And who said this? Was this a black woman, a black man? Was they young? Was they old?
It was a black man. It was a black man. But, yeah. And, I'm kind of like... But, I don't like, I don't like to play victim or anything. This is something that's made me the man I am today.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm like the most patriotic, South Sudanese. So, yeah.
Okay. And what about, how does your complexion impact you when you're dating? How do the queens treat your dark skin? Do they love it because dark is in, or is that exaggerate? Is it an exaggeration that black women are in love with dark skinned men, or do you find it to be the truth?
Well, when you see me, you think I'm African, so I think it's a little bit different.
Okay.
Some women do love dark skin, but when you're African, it's like when you look like African, I don't know how to describe it, right? We're all Africans here, but I look like
I know what you mean.
That's what I'm saying here. So I think it's a little bit different, and you're perceived differently than another dark skinned brother out here, So I don't think dark is in, at least for a lot of Africans. But, I may be mistaken. This is my personal experience. But, I still get the ladies, but I'm not,
I got you. I got you. And where did you say you were at again, brother?
Kansas City.
Kansas City. I'll be in St. Louis. I know that's about 3 hours away, but I'll be in St. Louis on the 16th of January.
Well, I just wanted to say to the dark-skinned sister in the comments, you should. There's a lot of South Sudanese models out there, and if you're feeling insecure in your dark skin, go check them out. I got Nikki Thought, Ducky Thought, all these people, and they really represent, that black is beautiful, and you guys don't gotta be insecure in your skin tone,
Well said. Thanks a lot for the comments, Brother Shadow. Let's go to Sister Thara. How you doing, Sister Thara?
Good evening, Dr. Umar. I'm doing well. Thank you.
All right. Where you joining us from, Queen?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. What What part? Bergen County. I got you. And where would you be on the color spectrum?
Okay. I consider myself brown. But
Okay.
in wintertime, I can get very light.
You can get very light. So what's the lightest you can get? Are you light enough to be considered yellow to pale?
Maybe right before that.
Okay, right before that. Okay, I got you. I got you, Queen.
Yeah.
What is your take on the light skin supremacy and how it impacts black women in the dating game?
Okay. So I think the way it can impact women in the dating game by affecting their insecurities, causing insecurity. When you're perceived as someone that's not confident, it becomes an unattractive feature.
Now, what becomes unattractive?
The way the person presents themselves, they may be perceived as, they weak or they don't feel good about themselves. And, sometimes people don't like that. They get turned off by that.
Okay. Has your skin color benefited you or hindered you, do you think, as far as your dating history?
I think it actually hindered me. And I think, and I'll explain that. I'll explain why. I've always identified with dark-skinned women. And I'm going to explain, okay? Growing up, colorism was just crazy in the, I'll tell my age a little bit, 80s, in the 80s. And I, believe it or not, if I had a crush on somebody, I was often passed off to the side for someone even lighter.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and when I mean light, I'm talking about like the fair skin. If you take a Puerto Rican woman, that fair skinned woman, that's what I would be passed over for, somebody that complexion.
Okay. Now tell me, go ahead with that, because you were saying you identify more with dark skinned women. Did I hear you say?
Yes.
Give me a little more of that.
Absolutely. So I started really, I guess my exposure to colorism was within my home. My mom, very dark in complexion. And I mean, the most beautiful, smooth complexion I've ever seen with my mom. And my father was very fair skinned. And I mean light, like yellow light. So my mom would often say things like, I don't want to go in the sun because I don't want to get any blacker than what I am. It would also go as far as hair texture, so I couldn't understand why she would say that, because in my eyes, she was just so beautiful, so flawless, So, and, I even have cousins that are even lighter than me. So, and then my experience growing up and seeing, people getting teased for their complexion, I would always step in the side of someone that was dark skinned, because for some reason in my mind, I kind of, I understood, what they were feeling, what was happening, based on growing up in my household with my mom.
Got you. Thanks for that comment, Sister Thera. Appreciate you, Queen.
Thank you.
All right. Brother AC, where you joining us from, Brother AC?
Hello, Brother Umar. I'm in London.
Wait a minute, Brother AC, 1 second. The folks in the comments, please tell me what it is you want to say. Not just that I'm light-skinned or I'm dark-skinned or biracial. If you could tell me what you want to say, that would be great. Sorry.
No problem. Where you joining us from, Brother AC?
I'm from London.
London. Are you currently in London now?
Yep, I'm in London right now.
All right.
It's literally 3 a.m. right now.
Got you. Thanks for supporting, brother. Where would you be on the color spectrum? Light, brown, dark?
I'm dark-skinned.
And how has life been for you as a dark-skinned brother living in the United Kingdom?
Hell. Like, literally hell. Like a living hell. It's been a living hell. So I came to this country from Zambia at 8 years old. Now, I didn't think there was anything wrong with me until about 13, 14. Now, I used to go to an all-white school. There were about 3 or 4 other black people that I used to hang around with in the school, like from different ages and different years. Majority of them were more or less like maybe a shade lighter than me or so. So, yeah, I thought maybe, yeah, brotherhood, you know, like, yeah, stick together. But I got colorism from them as well as me getting, you know, the oppression from white people, like, in the area kind of thing, because we went to an all-white school, the teachers, all that stuff. Now, that confused me a bit. It got to the point where, like, yeah, at the age of 14, that's when it really started, like, from black people. It was all from black people, like, family, friends, you know, cousins, things like that. It got to the point where it almost happened, like, every other week. Like, if I step out of the house, I would hear something like, oh, you're as black as my shoe, or, oh, you look like charcoal, I'll get the charcoal, you look like charcoal. That's one of the most common ones, oh, you're charcoal. And it was always from people that looked like me as well. Like, I wouldn't even say like a shade lighter. A lot of them looked like me, so it kind of got me confused, you know? I was like, and then to the point where I even got it from my own mother, you know?
Now tell me what you mean when you got it from your mother.
So a grandma came to visit from Zambia. This was around, I think I was like 16 years old. She came to visit for Christmas or so. It was about 10 years ago. Now she said, you live in this country. Why are you so black? That's what she said to me.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
And she kept saying that she visited for like 2 weeks. She kept saying it to me all the time. Like, and she's like respected, you know, elder women, like, you know, the whole dynamics in Africa. You respect
Yes, sir.
the elders.
Now, what is her complexion, brother AC? Your grandmother?
Oh, she's literally just as dark as me.
Oh
Literally
man. Oh man.
You
Wow.
see, like it really confused me. Like it really this stuff traumatizes me, Dr. Umar, to the point that, like, it's just, for me to open up right now, it's kind of hard. That's why I'm kind of like stuttering a bit.
Nah, you're doing a good job, brother. Now, how is it with you with brothers in the UK? Like brothers you hang out with? Do you notice any issue with the brothers with you being dark? And what about with the sisters?
Yeah, literally. Sometimes I would have to cut off people because they'll just make comments about my skin color. Like, everything, we'd be getting along, you know, going out to the club or whatnot, you know, watching football, whatever, like hanging out as brothers. And then the skin color comment comes out. That's when I know that's the last time I'll see you again. All right, that's it. You know, That's it. Because they know what they're doing. They're not oblivious to the whole colorism thing. They know exactly like what's happening, the dynamics. It's just a lot of times I get it from, because I'm not trying to like brag or anything, but I take pride in like the way I dress and things, or even like my music. I create music and things like that. So sometimes like there's jealousy from some people. So for them to feel better about themselves, they comment on my skin color. You know, it makes them feel better. You know,
yes,
kind of thing.
Like they got one up.
When I go back to visit in Zambia now, people, to make themselves feel better about themselves, they'll talk about my skin color. People back in Africa. So
wow.
I wouldn't.
Wow.
So I'm hearing people.
So wait a minute, AC. Wait. Are you telling me that in Africa, where we are at our darkest as a race,
yes,
they will still have an issue with dark-skinned people in Africa?
Yes.
Woo.
Yes. To the point, even one of my cousins who lives with one of my sisters told me, please get me a white man because I want colored babies. He actively said that to me. I was like, you know, and when that grandma came to the UK, right, when she said, why are you so black? You live here, like it's cold all the time. Why are you so black? She kept saying it over and over the course of 2 weeks, to the point my mom even joined in. She's like, yeah, why are you so black? That's the first time my mom ever made fun of my skin color. And I said to her, I was like, I got it from you. What are you talking about? My dad is brown, right? She's dark. I got it from her. And she, oh my, I was like, oh,
wow.
There's no hope. There's literally no hope. If your own mother, you know, like, that's where I had no hope. Like, I fell into, like, deep depression,
my
you know.
heart.
Yeah, like, I even tried to, you know, like, I got drunk. I went to university, first year university, I got drunk a bit, like, crazy drunk. And I threatened to end it, you know what I mean? That's what happened.
Yeah, don't do that, brother. We need you, man. You the color of God, brother. You the color of God.
Dr. Umar, they don't make me feel like this here. And to the point in school, like, it was a thing in the UK, especially in London, where they black people would make up a word called blick. If you're really dark, they say you're blick. And that's like one of the worst things that they can call. Oh, he's Blick. They'll laugh at you saying, yeah, you're Blick. Or there's another one, they'll say Block. So instead of black, there's Blick. If you're too dark, they call you Blick. That was the one of the main things the kids used to say around here.
Now, what about the sisters, brother AC? How is it with the dating game with the sisters? Because I know the UK.
They love the mixed race brothers over here. It's pure because majority of them here are half Jamaican, half British from the Windrush generation and stuff.
Okay.
So they're the ones that are in London. They're the ones that are desired.
So in London, the mixed race brothers are in.
Yeah,
which is interesting because in America it might be more. Well, the sisters claim it's more the dark skinned brothers, but I think when it's time for them to get married, they gravitate back to the light skin. But wow, that's interesting. So they like the mixed race.
Yeah, they like the mixed race here because obviously majority of them are half Jamaican, half Caribbean, half British here. Yeah, so I've never really seen the whole I desire, dark-skinned men from black women, because I've even heard black women tell me, like, even in university, that they want lighter babies. They've actually actively told me and my friends that.
Man, they want lighter babies.
Yeah, they want lighter babies. I've heard that from them, and it really, I don't know. I don't think we can actually get out of this hole, Dr. Umar. It's just so deeply ingrained.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's insane. Like I'd meet different black people. I'm like, oh, come, like obviously there's not that many of, like, apart from London, in the UK, there's not that many of us here. London, there's a lot. But when you meet another brother, like, you connect, thinking, yeah. And then you find out this person's not like-minded and they're all about this whole colorism stuff. It really annoys me. Like, it happens a lot,
Wow.
A lot. And,
wow.
It's insane. And to the point, there's one other thing that really, really, really hurt me. Like, there's plenty of other things, to be honest. There's so many, I can't even, But yeah, man, the one that really hurt me was the one from my mum, the woman that I got this from. I look exactly like my mum, So
wow.
that just left me no hope.
Wow. But listen, brother, I want you to stay in touch with me, brother AC. Do you have my cell number?
Yeah, we talk all the time.
Okay.
I was there. Remember the summer solstice fast in 2020?
Yes, sir. Did you ever hit me on WhatsApp yet?
Yeah, I hit you on WhatsApp. I think I shared a short film for my tribe in Zambia. I told you to watch it. It won awards.
Yes, sir. I need you to send that to me again because I got a new phone and my stuff got scrambled up a little bit.
One last thing, Dr. Umar.
Sure.
So, I make music and stuff. I've got a single called Black Rebel. It's not out yet. It's not out yet. I'm doing all the whole creative direction, treatment and stuff. But I've got Me and Yours phone call at the end of the
Sure, no problem.
Song. Like, I can clear that.
No problem. Yes, sir. You good.
All right. Thank you.
No problem, brother. Stay strong, AC.
All right. Cheers.
All right, now. Let's go to Sister Felicia. Sister Felicia, how you doing this evening, beautiful?
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm all right. Where you joining us from tonight, Queen?
I am from Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio. And judging by your beautiful face, I would say you would be one of the dark-skinned sisters.
Yes, I am.
Now, I want you to lay it down because you're the first dark-skinned sister I think we spoke with today. So you got to lay it down. What is going on? Are y'all being mistreated by the light-skinned folks? Are y'all just too aggressive? Do y'all assume people don't like you because you're dark without giving them a chance to show that they're not trying to discriminate against you? What is life like for a dark-skinned black woman in the United States?
I will tell you, I'm originally from Texas, and so I experienced all of that above what you stated. I didn't realize it as a young girl growing up until I think I was probably in high school that I realized what was actually taking place. Because you don't realize as a young child that this is colorism. You can't put a name to it. You just know that you are treated differently. And so I will say that the colorism occurred within my family. My mom would take my sister and I to visit my dad. My sister is a lighter skin, so she would be considered a brown skin young lady. And so we would go to visit my dad. And so my aunts on my dad's side would come to the car and they'd grab my sister, her name's Linda, and they would take her inside. And my mom would have to routinely say to them, well, what about Felicia?
Wow.
That's my dad, and that's my dad's family. And so that's when I started realizing that there was a difference, mainly within in the context of my family. Now, fast forward, I have two daughters, and interesting enough, and you know how the genes are, my oldest daughter is a darker skin as I am, whereas my youngest daughter is considered brown skin. And as both of them were growing up, she experienced the same things in school. I saw my oldest daughter, you know, struggle with the colorism in school, and it was just so disheartening because it brought back all of the memories of what I experienced in school and with my family. And I even witnessed that even with our family now, that often I'd have to say, oh, but Taylor is beautiful as well. And I think she's beautiful. She's a dark-skinned young lady. She has the most beautiful spirit. Same as my younger daughter. She's a brown skin, but she's beautiful as well. But I have to remind people that you know, both are beautiful in their own way. So it's been just all through my life, and then I can see it playing out in my children's lives. They're now adults, and I'm now single, adult, and I date. So when my girlfriends and I go out, two of us are dark-skinned and one's light-skinned, and I think we're all, nice-looking young ladies. Whenever we're out, 99% of the time, if a gentleman comes up, he's going to go to the lighter skinned young lady to talk to her. And so my darker skinned girlfriend, we kind of comment on that, and we've shared that with our lighter skinned friend, and she doesn't see it. I mean, she just does not see it. I don't think she's intentionally saying that. She's just been on that lighter skinned side and had, you know, probably, you know, more privileges than we have. I can't say that to a fact, but I would assume so. But in my dealing with it, sir, I have come to a decision that this is who I am. This is how God made me, and that I'm stronger by it. I don't agree with the colorism, but I'm stronger by it. In my professional career, you know, there's been times when I've had to walk into meetings and I'm introduced, and it's an all-white male room, and they're saying, okay, where's Felicia? And I'm sitting there.
Wow.
And sometimes overlooked, and have to really just, you know, just gather the strength on the inside and say, you know, I know who I am. I know what I bring. I know that I'm prepared, and just work through that. And I think it creates a lot of strength and awareness on the concept of regarding whether we're considered to be mean or angry. Yes, and it's unfortunate, but I've had to adjust my body language, adjust what I'm saying, how I'm communicating, because it can be perceived that because I am a darker skinned woman that I am coming off mean or in that regards. And it's not until people say, oh, I got to know you, and realize that's not, you know, that perception is not true of you. And so there's just been a lot of battles, but I think as you go through battles, you become stronger. And so that's what I hope I'm passing on to my daughters, that never allow people to define who you are just because of your skin color. Never allow anyone to put a period behind your name, to say that you can't achieve, can't attain, can't rise to the level that God has ordained for your life. And so that's the motto that I live by.
Wow. Now, let me ask you this, Queen. When you are in a relationship, so let's say when you were in a relationship, dating brothers, whether it's younger in life or even now, were they ever uncomfortable being with you in terms of taking you places, introducing you to people? Did you notice any type of bias on the part of the men you were dating in your life?
No, because I will say that I've only dated darker skinned men, and I'm not really giving it much thought until tonight as we're discussing it. And it could be because of that perception that lighter skinned men have frowned upon us dark skinned ladies. But my husband was dark skinned, and so the individual that I'm currently dating, she's dark skinned as well. So I tend to gravitate towards the darker skinned male.
Why do you think you do that? Do you have a preference for dark, or do you think that they'll just find you more acceptable? Why do you think you tend to gravitate to the dark skinned brothers?
Twofold. I think they find me more attractive. That's who I find approaching me. And I think I have a preference for darker skinned men. I just think that they're more, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, they tend to be more attractive. I think they're more handsome. I think there's just something about them. There's a strength that I perceive from them being dark skinned. I hope it's not being, you know.
Well, I was going to ask you that. Felicia, because, you know, you've been through what you've been through, Queen, as a chocolate sister. And then you say that you prefer dark-skinned men, does that make you a hypocrite a little bit?
No, it's just a preference.
But after all you've been through being dark, and then to flip and say, I'm only going to date dark-skinned men, are you not perpetuating?
No. I didn't say that I would only date dark-skinned men. I said my preference. Now, if there's a gentleman who approaches me, because at this age, you know, if you approach me and you have all the characteristics that I'm looking for, I don't know that color will be the defining decision to date or not date.
Okay. Yeah. I got you. Thank you for that, Felicia. That was very profound insight.
Thank you.
All right, goddess. Let's go to Sister Goldskin. Where you at, Goldskin? Where you joining us from?
Hello, I'm in New York.
New York City. Now, let me ask you right from the gate. With the gold skin, is that are you paying homage to your light skin there? Tell me about the gold skin name.
No. The name doesn't revolve around.
I got you, love. Where would you fall on the color spectrum? Would you be light skin, brown skin, dark skin, mixed race?
I'm in the middle.
So you would be brown. You're not yellow, correct?
My family call me caramel. Like I'm not.
Yeah, that would be brown.
But I'm not light.
Right.
I'm
okay.
Light in the middle.
You would be brown then, for the purpose of this conversation. Dark skin is anything darker than a brown paper bag. Brown is anything brown paper bag or lighter, and light skin is yellow to pale. So you would be brown skin. So tell me what life has been like as a brown skin sister. Is it a privilege? You know, has there been some takeaways from being brown skinned? Do you see light skinned women get treated better than you? How do you relate to dark skinned women? Give us your experience.
No. Women don't get treated better than me. I don't have a problem with dating any type of man. I think, to be honest with this conversation, I think black men cause, not all, but I think black men cause like a divide. And not just black men.
Break that down for you. Said black men are largely responsible for the skin color prejudice in the black community. Break that down for me.
Absolutely. Even on here, I experience things that other women said they don't experience.
Like what?
Or grace. If I am arguing with a man, he won't call me aggressive. He'll laugh it off. And sometimes I like black men just to see how they're going to treat me. I never raise my hand on this app. I instantly get invited when I go into the room.
Wow.
Like this room, I have to raise my hand.
Wow.
But I actually addressed it in the room I opened, and it was sad to hear that, you know, certain women don't just get invited up.
Wow. So you're saying by virtue of being brown skinned, and you're not even light, you know, you're brown, but not the light bright, you can still tell the difference between the way black men treat you and the way they treat dark skinned sisters. So you'll be in a group and you don't even put your hand up to talk, and they're going to pull you in, whereas a dark skinned sister may have her hand up and he'll overlook it.
Yeah,
Wow, that's profound.
Men on here will call me light because they'll go to my page, and like my recent picture, I was in Mexico. Anyone who goes to the island, you're going to tan. I was on that boat like 5 hours before I took my picture in the beaming sun. So, you know, someone said, well, she's light. And I was like, no, I'm caramel. And a black man in Clubhouse, he said, yeah, but she still gets good treatment because she's like honey. She's like golden. She's not like brown or dark. And that came from a black man. And at that time I left the room. So I used to date dark-skinned men because that was my preference. But I stopped being attracted to them because being in a relationship with a dark-skinned man, I noticed he would say like slave-like things.
Like what? Like what?
You know, make comments about my skin. Like this one guy I actually met off Instagram, and he flew me out. And I won't expose him because he's an athlete. But when he met me, he was like, wow, your skin is really gold. I like that because I don't like dark women.
Woo!
And I was like, what? And actually, when I flew home, I like blocked him because, see, that's the thing. I think dark-skinned men think they can have these conversations with you and you're going to like it. Like,
Wow.
ooh, I'm
Wow.
better.
Now, let me ask you, though, Queen, is it just the dark-skinned men, or do you find brown-skinned and light-skinned brothers operate the same way? Or would you say, no, dark-skinned men are clearly more biased towards lighter-skinned sisters? Or is it all brothers across the color spectrum?
Well, from my experience, it has just been dark-skinned men, but that doesn't mean light-skinned men or brown-skinned men don't participate in it. I have not experienced that when I've dated like a man light or, you know, in the middle like me. They've never like made me feel like, I don't know, just the vibe is very weird. And if you actually bring up someone who looks like mine or Sharonda, who's in the audience, I'm sure they have the same testimonies. Like, I'm sure they hear certain comments from certain men that they don't hear from other men.
Wow.
And it's very slave-like and distasteful.
Wow. Now, let me ask you this. I noticed that sisters tend to hang together based on complexion. If I just look at my lectures, right? And so I travel all around the world, but I notice in the UK, Canada, the US, South Africa, not so much on the continent though, but in the United States, I noticed that sisters tend to hang around. The sisters will be all generally the same complexion. They might be slightly darker, slightly lighter, but generally it'll be a lot of light-skinned sisters, the dark-skinned sisters, the yellow sisters. So my question for you, Sister Goldskin, is that just a coincidence, or are sisters kind of choosing their peer group based off of their complexion? And why is that?
So that's a great question. And it's interesting. They might be choosing a person who's in their, I guess, their complexion group because they feel safe. Like, I know just from being on this app, it's not safe. And because people will take their insecurities out on you. Like, for instance, I'll go in spaces and men will center me, and I didn't even ask for it. And that's why I say, please do not center me. They'll start talking about my looks, and that rubs women on the stage the wrong way. So I'll notice now I'm dealing with animosity. Now the women are like disagreeing with everything I say. They're being argumentative. And it's like I'm on eggshells. And it's like, girl, I don't even like none of these men on this stage and wouldn't even give them the time of day. So it's kind of like you feel safe with people who are like your complexion or around your complexion because y'all will have similar experiences, even if they're like negative. So someone brought up that Oprah documentary, because I used to open up colorism rooms and talk about that because I never knew how deep it was until I got on Clubhouse, and I'm not being ignorant. Like, I grew up in a predominantly white county. Thank gosh. Like, when I was 7 to America, my parents moved straight to the suburbs. So I was the only black girl in all my classes in every grade. And all I knew was I'm black. I didn't know light skin or dark skin because white people don't talk about that. And I kind of felt privileged when I got on this app. Like, I don't feel how black people on this app feel. They're very complexion-y and hurt and bitter.
Wow.
And I'm actually happy I grew up with white people because they don't point you out as light or dark. You're just black.
Yeah.
They just are black.
Let me ask you one more question, Sister Goldskin. The point where you talked about how women will start mistreating you because the men are giving you all of the attention. How do y'all heal that as sisters? Like, is there a remedy for that? Because a part of me says that the sister who gets angry at you for the men giving you the attention, that's kind of immature because you don't have no control over it. So that's one part. But then the other part of me says that because you know you do get a privilege because you are lighter, you have an obligation to do something about it. What, if anything, can be done? I mean, do light-skinned sisters need to start speaking up more for the dark-skinned sisters? Is that what needs to happen? Or
We have. And so I'll give you an example. It's treacherous. I came on this app and I didn't know what to expect. So I went into spaces that were centered around dark skin trauma. And I came in there with an open mind, listening, and then like ready to, how can I help? Like, what can I do? This is horrible. And it was like, what do you mean? Your name is Goldskin. First of all, you're a part of the problem. And I'm like, what? So then they painted this narrative, this wild narrative on the app that I was a colorist, which follows me to this day. If I go in certain rooms, they'll kick me out. Now it's to the point where, and this is still happening months later, if I go into certain rooms, next thing you know, it'll say I have been removed from the room. So I got clever. I started, like, as soon as I go into the room, I'll screenshot the stage so I can see who the moderator is. And when I would DM them, they would say, well, I got all these back channels saying you're a colorist, and I cannot have a colorist in my room. Also, people don't really have receipts. They'll just say, well, your name is Goldskin and it's offensive. I'm like, why is my name offensive? Because if there was a girl on here called Chocolate Skin, people would praise her. And my name, I've never told anyone what my name meant because I don't have to explain myself to people, but it doesn't pertain to my complexion. Like I said, when I came to
It's okay, babe. It's okay. You had a little emotional moment there?
Yeah, I feel like people have tried to bury me on this app. And it's just the weirdest thing because they don't know, like, that negative stereotype is not funny to put on anyone. Right. And they think it's a joke. Like, some people would say, well, you're a colorist because your name is Goldskin. But when I came to America, in Jamaica, no one points out your color that I've experienced. And when I came to America, this white kid has said to me, you're black, so you gotta draw your Santa Claus black with the black crown. And when I went home, I told my mom how I felt. And she says, your skin is gold. Your skin is luxurious, it's priceless, it's rich. It'll never fade. And they wish they had it. So my family started calling me gold. Like, you know, so I would appreciate, don't try to blend in with those white kids. Don't let them make you feel bad. You have better skin than them. It's gold. It's luxurious, like gold you buy. So it's just really sad. And then I have like a dark skinned sister. So it hurts different. Then I have a woman empowerment group. And when these things happen, I do get back channels from dark skinned women. And some of them are horrible. Like, bitch, I used to support you. How dare you not like dark-skinned people? And I'm like, when did I say I don't like dark-skinned people? Oh, okay. It's those people who are gossiping. And a lot of people don't give you a chance. They just go what people say, and they don't even let you explain yourself. And it's just really sad. So I do think some women are very evil, and I don't know if it's because of their complexion or what they dealt with in life, but like going back to the documentary that Oprah did, I think it was Oprah, I don't know, called Light Girls, Dark Girls. Someone sent me that when I used to open my colorist rooms. And the funny thing is, if you put the dark one in YouTube, a dark-skinned woman recapped the dark-skinned one and said, I'm ashamed of y'all. Y'all are making fun of light-skinned women trauma. Y'all are, just carrying yourself horribly. And as a dark-skinned woman, I'm ashamed. She said, you know what? In this dark-skinned documentary, y'all experienced abuse from your parents, from your uncles, from your aunties, not giving y'all presents or making y'all feel like y'all weren't good enough because you were darker and there was a lighter family member that got all the presents and the kisses and the praises. And y'all grew up and y'all took that out on random people because of their complexion. And I think that's what a lot of dark-skinned people do. They throw their trauma on other people when they should be throwing their trauma on those adults that make them feel bad for being their complexion. Wow.
Thank you for that, Sister Goldskin. Very articulate, very well said. If there's anything I could do to help you in these groups when you're dealing with sisters, in this color issue, let me know. We obviously going to have to do more work around that going forward. Thank you, sister. Let's go to Brother Brandon. Where you at, Brother Brandon?
Wait a minute, Brother Dr. Umar. We had a really, really good one from, I don't know if the brother's name is pronounced Thun or Thunderson. This brother said, do women go for men darker than them so they can maintain themselves as the overall more desirable among the two, which is still a form of self-hate under the guise of being bad? You know, like
let me repeat
That's
that.
interesting.
Let me repeat that to make sure I got your point, because it is profound. So the brother is saying that some sisters will date a darker brother to ensure that he treats her in an extra special way because she's lighter than him.
Correct. That is
Wow.
That's just
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is deep. I'm going to go. And that could work the other way too. Like, for example, I could date a darker sister because since I'm lighter than her, she'll always esteem me more. I think that happens. I could definitely see that. Wow. That is profound. I never thought of that. I never thought of that, but that is profound. I definitely believe it can happen. I hope it don't happen a lot, but it definitely makes logical sense in a sick world. It makes logical sense in a sick world. Wow, that was deep. Brother Brandon, are you there, King?